Welcome back to In Ohio Country Today. Joining us now is Dana Hilfinger. She's an extension educator with Central State University. Dana, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, we had a chance to talk on our podcast, In Ohio Country Today podcast, a little bit about your background, but we want to let our TV audience know a little bit more about what you do. But let's talk about where you came from, how you landed here at Central State.
Sure. Well, I am originally from Michigan, but I've been at Central State for the last year as an agriculture and natural resources extension educator. I have about 10 years of experience working on small-scale farms, vegetable and fruit farms primarily. And so I have been really excited in this position to get to work with a lot of small-scale farmers around the southwest region of the state and help them out as they're trying to grow their businesses or grow more produce.
You have a specific project that you're working on. Why don't you tell us about it?
Sure. So one of the big projects we're working on right now is an incubator farm project, and it's a part of our Beginning Farmer project in general. We're hoping to provide kind of more resources for beginning farmers to be able to lower the barrier to entry to farming, in particular for first-generation farmers. So people who maybe have not grown up on a farm, don't have experience with a lot of that. We're looking to be able to provide opportunities and resources for people in that position. So we have two partner sites in the Dayton area that we're working with right now, the Edgemont Solar Gardens and then the City of Trotwood. And we have actual plots set up for people to come and grow on. And then we do classes in addition to that kind of provide people some of that like background information about growing vegetables and marketing their crops.
You know, Dana, one of the things I find interesting is that you have firsthand experience about being a first-time farmer. Yeah. So why don't you talk about that and being an educator and just knowing firsthand what it takes to start from scratch in agriculture?
Right. I mean, as a farmer, you have to really be a jack of all trades. You have to be able to be the grower in addition to the mechanic, the bookkeeper, the marketer, right? You have to be the social media guru. You have to be everything, especially in this day and age. So it's a lot to take in, and sometimes it can feel like you're drinking from a fire hose initially. So what we're trying to do with this program is provide some kind of nice, easy path to entry for people who have not been exposed to a lot of that, or maybe who have some kind of family history of growing produce, but who, haven't done it in their lifetime at least. So we're trying to provide as much hands-on opportunities as possible. I think a lot of the people in the programs that we're working with have said, they like hands-on learning, right? They want to have their hands in the dirt. And so the classes are really field-based. We're out in the plots a lot. We're talking a little bit about some things, but most of the time we're really just demonstrating everything in the field. And from my experience, that was the way that I learned. I learned from apprenticing on farms initially for a couple years, and that really was what gave me the basis to be able to then go on and start my own farm eventually too.
A lot of it, too, has to deal with continuing education. So once you get them started, once you find that smooth pathway that you talked about, you have to be able to maybe hold their hand a little bit after year one or year two so that they can continue to grow and be a successful farmer.
Exactly. And this program is a 3-year grant that we have with that in mind. So the first year is really kind of those like classes and a little bit more kind of structured education. The second and third years will be more mentorship and more opportunities for them to network with other farmers in the area so that they're able then to have some of that support that you're talking about so that going forward, they might call us, but they also might be able to call some of their neighbors in the area for help. And that's really kind of part of our goal too. We're involved with a couple other kind of network building programs where we just want to connect more small-scale farmers, and especially small-scale farmers of color who maybe, don't know that there's other people like them who exist out there. Exactly. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about your team. You can't do it alone, and these projects are pretty extensive. Let's talk about the other members of your team and getting this up and running and trying to sustain it too.
Yeah. So this grant was originally, the proposal was submitted by the Agriculture and Natural Resources team leader, Dr. Cindy Folk. She's the kind of program leader for all of our agriculture extension educators. Right. And then my counterpart in this region, Mark Amante, he's the other extension educator in agriculture and natural resources. Him and I have been working initially a lot, along with some other extension educators around the state, to pull together a curriculum that includes kind of these different components of growing vegetables that we think are really important to hit in the first year. We then have been working more and more with the folks from our community and economic development team to bring in a lot of that business planning and marketing and budgeting kind of knowledge, so that the farmers aren't just equipped with knowing what to grow, but then can really turn it into something that could be profitable.
You know, one of the things that beginning farmers struggle with, just like existing farmers or fifth generation farmers, are input cost. I mean, what are you talking to them about that smooth road getting started, and how they can handle input costs so that they can find that light at the end of the tunnel as far as profitability is concerned?
Right. So part of the program is about having people go through the training so that at the end of the program, they're eligible for certain financial programs, like the USDA Farm Service Agency microloan program. So once they go through this program, they'll be eligible to apply for those microloans, which have a very kind of friendly interest rate and can be for up to $50,000 as an operating loan. So really can provide people with kind of those startup funds. As you know, probably farming is one where you see a lot of your cost up front, and then you make your money throughout the season. Right. So having some of that cash flow at the beginning of the year can be really important. We also have a few other partners that we're working with that are interested in supporting beginning farmers beyond the lifetime of this program.
Private partners?
Some private and some Montgomery County Land Bank in particular. They have opportunities for vacant lots, for acquiring vacant lots around the city, which could be really great candidates for growing sites for people who want to farm urbanly, right, or in an urban environment. And then we also are working with other community organizations, nonprofits as well, to try to connect more resources to people so that they're not just kind of left with nothing at the end of the program. Right. Yeah. And that's been a real interest of a lot of the participants that I've worked with a lot, in particular with the Edgemont Solar Gardens. They're interested in feeding their community. Yeah. You know, they want to provide produce in areas where there's not a supermarket or a grocery store that has fresh food available. And so they want to be that resource for their community. That's really a driving kind of motivation for most of the people in the program. And so we're really excited to be able to support that and hopefully be able to kind of increase the number of people who are able to grow, whether it's for themselves, for profit, or for, just generally for their community.
Wow. Dana, some great work you guys are doing here. If people want more information, why don't you give them the website where they can go to or how to contact you?
Sure. So they can go to the Central State University Extension webpage. My contact information is on there, my email, as well as my phone number. So you're always welcome to reach out to me by email. It's just my first initial and last name at centralstate.edu.
Dana Hilfinger has been our guest extension educator here at Central State University. Dana, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
And we'll be back with more in Ohio Country today, right after this.
Closed captioning paid for in part by the following. Dye Real Estate and Land Company specializes in farmland and recreational land throughout Ohio. A company for people who enjoy the rural lifestyle and looking to buy or sell their land. All of our land agents are members of the Realtors Land Institute and have extensive experience in farming and agricultural land business. At Dye Real Estate and Land Company, we'll work with you to tailor-fit a plan that works best for you, your family, and your investments. Our services include 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, land brokerage, land auctions, and CMAs and valuations for estates and planning. We are Dye Real Estate and Land Company. Call us today and visit our website at dyerealestate.com. Dye Real Estate and Land Company, We know the land business because we live it every day.
No one likes downed corn, but it happens, and when it does, you can't afford to lose any more yield. Pick up lodged or downed corn with the aggressive Drago corn head, available at your local Apple Farm service. Longer and more aggressive gathering chains translates into the ability to pick up downed corn that sits lower to the ground.
It's a humble idea. Use a biological process to turn a plant into a power source. From that idea came the first Poet refinery. One biorefinery in one town turned into 27 facilities in 27 towns, creating new local jobs, producing hundreds of millions of gallons of ethanol, and providing renewable products around the world. Suddenly, that one little idea seems a whole lot bigger. See the world differently with Poet.
Now's the time to harvest more savings with New Holland and Apple Farm Service. Take home a new baler, mower conditioner, rake, tractor, or skid loader with 0% interest up to 60 months and cashback options. Hurry and stop into your local Apple Farm Service today. Rodock and Midway Trailers are Ohio's premier Thunder Creek dealers for fuel trailers and DEF delivery systems. Thunder Creek offers versatile, reliable, and best of all, legal transportation and handling for fuel and DEF systems. Let us know how our teams at Midway Trailers in Rodock can get you set up and ready any time of the year. For fuel and service trailers, economy trailers, service and lube trailers, double wall trailers, split tank trailers, bulk DEF trailers, and standalone DEF systems for trucks. Remember Rodock and Midway Trailers, Ohio's premier Thunder Creek dealer, with 3 locations to serve you in Delphus, St. Mary's, and Dayton. Welcome back to In Ohio Country today, and joining us now is Brent Maas. Brent is the Gooseneck Stock Trailer Product Manager for Wilson Livestock Trailers. One of the reasons why we're talking with you today is because of a fine sponsorship that we have on our television show and our podcast, Rodock and Midway Trailers. So we appreciate your time right now, Brent. So, Brent, let's talk a little bit about the history of Wilson Trailers.
All right. As you said, it started in 1890 in Dakota Territory, which was not a state at that time, which is now South Dakota. So it started there. He was the founder. His name was Frank Wilson. He was making wooden horse-drawn wagons, basically, back then. Over the years, he migrated into Sioux City, Iowa, which we're right on the border of South Dakota there. His son-in-law ended up taking over the company later on, and they continued to work in the transportation business. Over the years, it went from horse-drawn stuff to wooden bodies on straight trucks to steel straight deck, single-axle semi-trailers, and all the way up to what you see on the road today. It's only went 4 generations, I think, since 1890. So it's still in the immediate family.
Let's talk about those gooseneck livestock trailers that you guys produce. They're, as you say on your website, they're the work trailer, aren't they?
Yes. Yep. I mean, they look nice, but they're built to use. I mean, we have a lot of customers that drag them through pastures, gravel roads, dirt roads, out on the ranch, over rocks, whatever. They're definitely built to last, but they also clean up well, and you can take them to the fair or the cattle show too.
Environment is the important thing, especially when you're dealing with livestock, making sure the environment is safe for the livestock, making sure that it cleans up nice. And those are 2 very important features that you guys are very proud of, because that's what you do best, right?
Yes. Our interior walls are smooth. There isn't anything to damage or bruise the animals. It also helps washing out or cleaning it up. So, our biggest claim to fame on the gooseneck stuff is they're built in the same plant out of the same material as our semi-cattle trailers. So they're just a smaller version. And everyone in the cattle world is familiar with our cattle pots that are running up and down the interstates every day.
Yeah, durability is what it's all about, I'm sure. There's no question about it. Well, you've got about 7 or 8 different trailers available in the gooseneck livestock and bumper hitch trailers. Why don't you give us just a brief overview of the diversity that's available out there to our livestock producers?
Well, we're a custom builder, so we offer 4 different widths. You can do 7, 7.5, 8, or 8.5 wide, and lengths all the way from 16 feet up to 45 feet long. We do tandem axles, triple axles. We can build them taller. We can do double decks, winter packages to keep the cold air out, internal ramps, external ramps. You name it, we've probably done it at some point.
You know, if people want to review those advantages and, of course, all the popular options with each of those models, what's a good place for them to go to?
Our website will be a good place to start, and that's just www.wilsontrailer.com.
And Brent, before we let you go, you got to give me another plug there for our good friends at Rodock and Midway Trailers and what they do for you here in the Buckeye State.
Yes, that's been a good relationship. They came on board a couple of years ago, and it's been a good fit for them and a good fit for us both.
Brent Maas has been our guest, the Gooseneck Stock Trailer Product Manager for Wilson Livestock Trailers. And as always, for more information, you can always go to our website at inohiocountry.com, and we'll have a link to Midway Trailer in Rodock right there. That's inohiocountry.com. Rodock and Midway Trailers are your source for Wilson Livestock Trailers. Reliable, lightweight, and durable, Wilson Livestock Trailers are your best value year after year. With attention to animal and operator safety, Wilson offers biosecurity and features more attuned to the needs and concerns of today's livestock haulers. Remember Rodock and Midway Trailers for sales and service of Wilson Livestock Trailers, with 3 locations to serve you in Delphus, St. Mary's, and Dayton.
What's 1/8 of an inch mean? If it's the gap in your corn head's deck plates, it could mean losing 4 bushels every acre. That's why Drago invented their yield-capturing, self-adjusting deck plates. Deck plates that automatically adjust the size of the corn stalk. Ask your local Apple Farm Service to learn more.
Alan Davis, business owner, active farmer. No one knows farmers' needs better than Alan. Give him a call today at 419-738-7447 and talk about total farm protection and more. Alan Davis Insurance Agency is your solutions provider for auto, home, life, business, recreational, total farm protection and more. Call 419-738-7447. That's 419-738-7447. Join the CR Revelation with New Holland and Apple Farm Service. The famous twin-rotor combine is now the world's highest capacity combine. Save on fuel and lower grain loss with the IntelliSense combine automation system. Stop into your local Apple Farm Service to learn more.
Welcome back to In Ohio Country today, and we're here at the beautiful Mercer County Fairgrounds. And with me is Beth Guggenbiller, who is the 4-H educator here in the county. And you know, this time of the year has been really busy for you. You want to give us a little bit, before we get into what your responsibilities are, you want to give us a little bit of background and about yourself?
Great. Yeah, I am Beth Guggenbiller. I'm the 4-H educator. I grew up in 4-H, just kind of like 4-H is. There's a lot of tradition, and you grow up in the program. I think my background is a little different. I helped plan Mercer County Fair, but growing up, my father was the fair president and now fair manager at Auglaize County. So I've kind of always seen the behind the scenes of what it takes to get a fair going, which kind of makes my position a little unique. So growing up, I know all the work that it goes the other 51 weeks of the year to get the fair going. And so I kind of have that background, but I grew up showing sheep, did all the livestock projects, all the special interest projects, was fair royalty, did the whole gamut of all the 4-H world, and then I got lucky enough to make it my career.
Well, you know, so when we talk about a 4-H educator working through Extension Ohio State University, tell us a little bit about what your responsibilities are in that role.
Yeah, so everywhere it looks a little different across the state, but I do work for Ohio State, and I'm a 4-H educator, so I do lots of other roles of education in the schools and 4-H camp, but I also am the junior fair coordinator. So I work with our junior fair board, which is our high school kids who help run the junior fair shows. So we teach them the responsibilities of the paperwork that goes into doing a show and running the show and talking on a microphone and placing your ribbons and ordering your ribbons and all those things. And so I am kind of the ringleader of that, working with the teenagers, and they do a great job, and it's great to see them grow from their first year they're on, where they're scared and have no clue what we're doing, to by the time they're seniors and they're running those livestock shows.
Yeah, you know, being involved with 4-H all my life, and then my kids growing up doing it and showing sheep and cattle and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of amazing how the kids, from the time they were 9 years old in 4-H, all of a sudden became running the shows. It's quite a sight to see.
Yeah, this is my 6th year, and so it's interesting. I've seen kids phase out, and now their younger siblings coming in, and I'm kind of at that age like, oh my gosh, I remember when your sibling was little, and now they're on my board. And so I never thought I'd get to that age where I see kids go through, but I am, and it's really neat to watch it grow as a family and go through the program. And now some of my junior fair board kids rolling into the senior fair role, so it's really fun to see how they grow in that position.
Well, you think it's bad when you just see the siblings come in and wait till it's your grandkids. That's when you know the time is really moving on really fast. There's a lot more to 4-H, and there's a lot of other projects that kids can take to the fair, even if they don't have livestock. You want to tell us a little bit about some of the other things that the kids can do?
Yeah, so our junior fair building is filled with those projects. There's all sorts of projects. It's really neat. There's the traditional ones that we might all know, your clothing, your cooking, your woodworking, but that's really grown. They make the projects based on what's the interest of the kids today. So there's cake decorating now. There's redesign my home, so a kid remodels their room. And so they've really changed the projects. You have still your traditional clothing projects that the first year member makes their jumper, but they've also changed the projects, and now they're making athletic wear, or maybe it's how to shop smart and learning how about shopping and what make smart choices on your shopping. So those projects have even evolved for the kids too. Yeah, so projects are really evolved. You still have your traditional programs and projects that you think of as your 4-H kid, your farm kid taking, but they've really evolved into let kids that live in the city or live maybe they can't have livestock projects in their backyard. There's a lot of projects that meet their needs. There's even like a horseless horse project, so you don't have to own a horse, but you're interested in horses and you want to learn what it takes to raise a horse. You can learn and kind of study about that. So they've really changed the projects throughout the years. Still have your traditional agricultural projects, but evolved into letting other kids take things.
Well, when you're talking about kids who might not be able to keep livestock or have traditional 4-H programs or projects like a livestock, for example, there's a return of 4-H into the urban area, 4-H and FFA, right? So you want to talk a little bit about that and what you're seeing from the standpoint of extension?
Yeah, that's what's really great with extension. There's all the different educators across the state that work together, and so you really evolve and change and find the people that are like in your community and build projects together. And so there's garden projects coming together and learning how to do urban gardening and those types of things. And so educators work together to start building those projects and make sure that it's flourishing throughout the state.
Our farm department is committed to providing ag professionals the products, coverages, and peace of mind needed to run a successful operation. With our home office located in the heart of farm country, many of us have first-hand experience when it comes to farming, and we know how to take out the risk. Under one policy, we can provide total protection of your investment, from your home and barns to your equipment and livestock. We also provide an outstanding equine coverage, from a homeowner with a single horse to a professional breeder and everything in between. Come join us and experience the Celina difference.
We're back, and with me today is Aaron and Luke. We're here at the Mercer County Fair. We've talked earlier to Beth about the program and what her responsibilities are. What does it mean, Aaron? What does it mean to you, 4-H and all the things that you're doing as it relates to the junior fair?
Yeah, 4-H has just let me develop personally and professionally. Learning how to do some of these projects, you get to do so many cool experiences between 4-H camp, and the junior fair board. You really get to learn what it takes to be the real life in the 4-H and the fair environment.
Well, so what was your project?
This year I did graphic design. In the past I've done livestock. So I've had the full 360 of all the projects. I've done the FFA work. I've done it all.
So is this your senior year?
Yep, I'm going into my senior year. I've been in 4-H for 9 years already.
What are you going to do?
After graduation, I'm planning on going into marketing at Miami.
Well, good. That's good for you. Luke, can you tell me a little bit about what 4-H and the junior fair and all this process means?
So for me, I brought a lot of projects back in the day that were completely different from what everybody was bringing, because me and my family like to travel a lot, so we never really got the time to bring animals to the fair. So we always did out of the works, I don't know, just weird projects. Like I learned to be a beekeeper, so I had a beekeeping business for like 5 years or whatever, but I ended up getting out of it just because I got busy with work and everything, but learned something new. And I did Fun with Flight, where I learned all the math behind airplanes and drove a plane too, so I thought that was a pretty cool experience that I had.
Yeah, so obviously you guys are pretty diversified compared to what we see as a traditional 4-H project and what you're doing at 4-H. So is this your senior year?
No, I just graduated this year from Coldwater.
So what are you going to do after graduation?
So I'm actually attending the University of Northwestern Ohio right now in Lima, and I'm taking robotics and automation.
Well, Beth, those two young men were perfect examples of diversification that we were talking about in the 4-H program.
It is. They did all the different things. They explored new things. And when they tried new projects, it led to now their future careers. And so it's really great. And I've had them as camp counselors. I have them in the FFA building. They do all the different things. And they've met, I can tell you, probably friends they would not have met if they weren't in 4-H. And even this week on court, the court is a variety of 6 people that probably were never friends before. And now you see them run around the fair and having fun and having conversations. And I'm sure they're going to hang out after the fair. And so it's just the great things that you meet through 4-H and the junior fair program.
Well, Beth, if somebody wanted to find out more about 4-H and extension and all those kind of things, where can they go?
Yeah, the easiest thing to do for your county is just do your county name, so mercer.osu.edu. So take your county name.osu.edu and you can find out what's going on in your county and how to get involved.
Well, Beth, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
The new Ag Pack is here at St. Mary's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your exclusive certified agriculture dealership. Ag Pack is a powerful package of farm and ranch discounts and incentives worth thousands of dollars, absolutely free. Stop by and see Dave Hager, your ag commercial specialist, and ask about the vehicles, discounts, and incentives in the new Ag Pack.
You get straight talk, real service, and the right price. St. Mary's Chrysler, you get straight talk.
No one likes downed corn, but it happens, and when it does, you can't afford to lose any more yield. Pick up lodged or downed corn with the aggressive Drago corn head, available at your local Apple Farm Service. Longer and more aggressive gathering chains translates into the ability to pick up downed corn that sits lower to the ground.
Pushita Creek Steaks, naturally delicious, antibiotic and hormone-free, from fresh grass and grain-fed, free-to-roam cattle. Pushita Creek is a family-owned and operated 210-acre free-range ranch right here in Ohio, and we take the time to custom-fit your order to exactly what you want. For steaks, roasts, hamburger, pet treats, gifts, freezer boxes, and much more, check us out on the web at PushitaCreekSteaks.com. That's PushitaCreekSteaks.com.